back in the garage. I got the car jacked up and I was getting ready to do the gear, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a video on the brake kit on this car. I've gotten a lot of questions on the forums on how do you install the Wilwood brake kit. So I'm gonna go over that and do like a little review on what I think of them and all that. But yeah, so let me first flip the camera around and we'll start on the front brakes. Okay, so here's the part number for the brake kit I have for the front. The 11-inch diameter vented rotor. Basically, what you have to do in order to, let me get my flashlight. So basically with this kit, you have to reuse your stock spindles. Let me turn the wheel so you can see it better. Okay, so basically you're reusing your stock spindles. You can see that the Wilwood kit requires you to cut the ears that normally stick out here to hold your stock brakes. You basically cut that off. And then there's on stock spindles, so I can get a better view. On stock spindles, right here you can see that bracket. There's a bracket right here that normally on the stock spindles there's a dust boot there. It's like a shield, like a metal shield that hooks to, well, it's a shield that prevents brake dust from getting on your wheels. What you do is you remove that and you're basically retapping the spindle on those, basically on there's 3 bolts that bolt the dust cover on. Well, you take those out and you retap them for bigger bolts. I'm not sure exactly what the thread is on that, but it's all in the manual here. Okay, so yeah, basically the kit comes with these are the ears that you want to cut off, here and here. It's these 2 here that you're getting rid of because that's where the factory brakes used to connect. So what you do is you're basically retapping these 3 holes for, and I looked it up, it's a 3/8 24 thread. You're retapping those 3 holes, and that's where the new brake caliper mounting bracket's gonna attach. Okay. So, and this kit comes with it comes with the hubs. It comes with all your bearings, the bearings that go inside, calipers, and all that. So you're reusing some of your parts, like the spindle, and I believe the spindle nut. You might be reusing that, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember that, but yeah, it's a really good kit. This is the second one I've done. I did one of these on my race car too. Now on my race car, I used the non-vented rotor, which you can see here. Since I'm driving this car on the street a lot, I went with the vented rotor. If you go with the single rotor that's not vented and you drive it on the street, you can overheat and it can warp. So I don't recommend that. They're a lot lighter, but I don't recommend it. So okay, and yeah, it comes with the calipers that are basically has a quick removal of the brake pads. You just take this pin out and the pads slide right out. It's a real neat setup. You could change pads in about 2 minutes. So all right, let's move on to the back. The part number for the rear brakes is here. Okay. It's a low profile setup, so you can put 15-inch wheels on it, which is what I have. I have 15-inch wheels. So yeah, and this setup's unique because it integrates a parking brake. It integrates a parking brake into the rotor. So in this hub here, inside the hub, there's like a mechanical parking brake that is actually, I don't have it hooked up yet because I got to make a small bracket in order to hook my line to it, the cable. I have to hook the cable to it, but I need to make a small bracket for that. And I'll show how I do that maybe in another video, but right now it's not hooked up. But yeah, it's just basically like a mechanical drum brake on the inside of the brake. So that's a pretty neat little setup. And these brakes are quick release too. You know, you basically, this bolt here comes off, this slides out, and the brakes come right out the back. Again, it's super easy. Yeah, and I highly recommend these brakes. They're just great. The rears were, I think, a little cheaper than the fronts. I think the rears were $650 or $625. I'm not 100% sure on that. But if you take those part numbers and put them in, you know, Google the part numbers. There's a few different companies that it'll pop up, and you know, you can find the best price. And then once you find the best price, you can always go to Jegs, and they'll price match anything online. So that's good. So yeah, I just wanted to basically go over the kit. Like I said, I highly recommend it. It's the brakes are awesome. I mean, the car stops better than it ever did before with stock brakes. And what you're gonna need to do also is, it doesn't come with this flex line. You're gonna have to buy that flex line too. You can't reuse yours. It won't hook to the back of the caliper. So you got to get that. But once you get that kit, it basically slides right in where the factory, there's a factory clip here where that slides in, and then your stock brake line will bolt right to it, no problem whatsoever. And the same in the rear. The calipers themselves come with an adapter that you Teflon tape or thread sealer the fitting in, and then your factory lines will go right into it. So yeah, I just wanted to go over these brakes. Trying to think, because I've gotten a lot of questions on the forums on how to do this. I guess not a lot of people have done these brakes on Fox bodies. I don't know. It gets a little confusing when you have to tell people they have to reuse their stock spindles and cut the ears off. They get a little confused by that. Don't be afraid of it. It's really, they're great brakes. You can't use 4-cylinder spindles. You got to have V8 spindles. Like I said before, this was a 4-cylinder car. So I ended up having to go to the forums and find somebody that had some V8 spindles that I had to buy. So, but if your car's already a V8, then that doesn't matter. So, okay. So that's pretty much it as far as the brakes go. I don't know if I'll try to show where the emergency brake, parking brake on these hooks up. If I can get my flashlight under here. So yeah, basically that's the fitting I was talking about that it comes with. It comes with this fitting here. This fitting, and then your factory brake line will go right into that. Okay, so yeah, right here you can see that's the factory emergency brake, and then there's basically right here, that is where this needs to hook to. So you see, I got to make a bracket. Maybe I'll weld something on here to connect to this, and then my parking brake will work. So yeah, like I said, I highly recommend these brakes. They're a little pricey, and but you do get what you pay for. I've seen some other kits like on LMR and stuff like that, and they're kind of the same price. I mean, they're not that much cheaper. And some of them are more money, but the Wilwood's a pretty trusted name, so I do recommend them. But yeah, so that's I just wanted to go over that. If you have any questions, you know, you can leave a comment and I'll answer the questions. I've put about maybe 2,000 or 3,000 miles on these. No issues whatsoever. Like I said, the other set I had for my race car was a little different. I didn't use it all the time. It was only used at the drag strip. So I never had a chance to really get to use them daily to see how they were. But I can say I highly recommend these. And I'll put the part numbers like in the beginning of the video and in the description and all that. So, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and get something out of it and learn something. Hopefully I went over everything I needed to. I wish I would have, when I did the brakes, I wish I would have done a step-by-step, which I didn't, but the instructions are very good. I have to say that Wilwood did a very good job with the instructions, and it's, you know, the hardest part is drilling and tapping that dust cover, those dust cover holes. You may need to get a machine shop to do it. I mean, I have a milling machine here that I did it on, which makes it a lot easier. So maybe if you have a buddy or something like that with a drill press or whatever, you can do it. If you just take your time, it's not that bad. But like I said, that's the hardest part. But yeah, so just that's the end of this video. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention, and when it's important, this kit, the front brakes, it's gonna move your wheel out, I believe, about 1/2 inch. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're ordering wheels or you know, putting a set of wheels on this. You want to make sure your offset is right. So yeah, the wheels I bought, these weld wheels here, most people do, I think, 1 3/4 offset, and I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, but you kind of get the point. I went like another 1/2 inch, so I believe these are 2 1/4 offset, or back spacing rather. So what that did was it brought it back to where it's not sticking out. Me personally, I don't like that look. I don't like the look of the front wheels sticking out. I'd rather have them tucked a little bit. Same with the rears. I prefer to have them a tucked look. The rear brakes, I don't think moves it out at all. So, and also keep in mind, this setup that I have is for stock 8.8 ends, okay? It's not for 9-inch ends. It's not for C-clip eliminators. If you have 9-inch ends or C-clip eliminators, you're gonna have to go on Wilwood's website and make sure you get the correct part number, okay? Because it will be a different part number. It's like on my race car, I had 9-inch ends, and it was a different part number, and the brake setup was different. And on the 9-inch ends, I don't think they have an option for a parking brake. I could be wrong, I'm not sure, but yeah, anyway, now that's gonna close it out, and I will see you guys next time.